There comes a point in every person's life when staying the same becomes more painful than changing, when the noise around you grows louder than your own heart. When people doubt you, misunderstand you, underestimate you, and something inside you finally wakes up and says, "Enough, this is my life, and I'm taking it back." Today is that moment, today is the shift. Because the truth is simple, the world doesn't respect the one who waits, it respects the one who decides. When people talk about chemistry between a woman and the man she loves, they usually jump to romance, looks, or the way they talk to each other. But the real truth lives deeper than that. It lives in the energy between them, the silent communication that happens even when they're not speaking. Energy doesn't need permission to be felt. It doesn't need vocabulary or perfect timing. It just exists, and when the connection is real, it becomes the strongest language in the room. A woman can read the man she loves without him opening his mouth. She feels his mood before he admits he's going through something. She senses his stress, his excitement, his ambition. She can pick up on the shift in his tone, his eyes, his breathing. That's not guessing, that's alignment. That's two souls that have tuned into each other so deeply that words become secondary. She doesn't need a speech to know when he's tired, overwhelmed, or fighting battles he hasn't explained yet. She knows because his energy shifts, and her heart knows how to translate that shift, and the same is true for him. A man who truly loves a woman doesn't need her to spell out her emotions. He sees through her "I'm fine" without her having to break down. He notices the weight behind her silence, the tension in her shoulders, the softness in her eyes. He can feel when she needs comfort, when she needs space, when she needs reassurance. Energy reveals everything. You can lie with your words, but you can't lie with your energy. When two people are genuinely connected, they learn the language of each other's presence. They learn how the other breathes when they're happy, how they move when they're stressed, how they sit when something is bothering them. The body speaks, the spirit speaks, the energy speaks, and both of them learn to listen. This kind of chemistry doesn't show up everywhere. It doesn't happen with just anybody. It requires openness, vulnerability, trust, and honesty. It grows quietly over time, woven into small moments, late night conversations, shared struggles, mutual victories, and the comfort of simply being around each other. There's a certain peace that comes with knowing someone can feel you without you having to explain yourself. Life is loud, people talk too much, but energy remains the most honest form of communication. And when a woman loves a man with depth and sincerity, her energy aligns with his in ways she doesn't even try to control. It's instinctive, it's natural. She can walk into a room full of people and still feel him before she sees him. She can sense his presence like a shift in the atmosphere. It's almost magnetic, and he experiences the same pull. This is the kind of bond where silence isn't uncomfortable, it's meaningful. Sitting next to each other without talking feels complete because the energy between them fills the space. Even in the middle of disagreements or frustration, their underlying connection doesn't disappear. They might be upset, but the bond stays alive. Energy doesn't break just because the moment is difficult. If anything, it exposes the truth beneath the conflict. They can feel when something is off, even if everything looks fine from the outside. This unspoken chemistry also protects the relationship in ways words never could. A woman's intuition, guided by her emotional connection to the man she loves, becomes sharper. She can sense when he's drifting mentally, when he's hurting, when he's doubting himself. She becomes a grounding force without needing to perform or force anything. Her presence alone calms him, inspires him, and reminds him of who he is. His presence does the same for her. This kind of energy becomes a safe space, a refuge from everything chaotic in the world. It becomes a reminder that love, at its core, is not about performance or perfection, but about connection. Two people who share this energy start influencing each other without trying. They motivate each other without preaching. They heal each other without demanding recognition. They elevate each other without making announcements. Their energy speaks in the way they look at each other, the way they support each other, the way they show up for each other consistently. This is why real chemistry can't be faked. You can pretend to care with your words, but your energy will betray you. You can pretend to be present, but your energy will reveal that your mind is somewhere else. Energy exposes truth and confirms authenticity. When a woman and the man she loves share that unspoken chemistry, they communicate through glances, through shared silence, through the comfort of being understood without explanation. Their connection becomes a world only they can enter, a rhythm only they can hear, a language only they can speak. When two people truly love each other, something powerful happens beneath the surface. It's not just affection or attraction. It's a silent agreement to grow together, to push each other, to elevate each other in ways the world doesn't always understand. When a woman loves a man deeply, she doesn't just connect with his present self, she connects with his potential, his spirit, and the future he hasn't built yet. She sees the strength he carries, even on the days he feels weak. She sees the greatness inside him before he fully claims it. Her presence naturally pushes him to rise, not because she forces him, but because her belief in him becomes a mirror that shows him who he can be. And that kind of belief is rare. It's steady, encouraging, and it quietly challenges him to become a better version of himself without making him feel pressured or inadequate. She uplifts him through her love, not through demands. And a man who truly loves a woman responds to her energy with equal depth. He doesn't want her to shrink to make him comfortable. He wants her to stand tall, dream freely, and walk in her own power. His love doesn't clip her wings, it strengthens them. He supports her ambitions, not just the ones she speaks out loud, but the ones she's too humble or too afraid to mention. He sees the fire in her, the brilliance she tries to downplay, and he encourages her to step into it fully. A man who loves her wants her to win, not because her success benefits him, but because he genuinely takes pride in seeing her shine. Her growth inspires him, and his growth inspires her, creating a cycle where both elevate naturally. This kind of elevation is not loud or showy. It's not the kind couples post for public approval. It's the quiet things they do when nobody is watching. It's the late night talks where they remind each other of their purpose. It's the comfort between them that allows vulnerability without judgment. It's the moments when one of them is tired, discouraged, or doubting, and the other steps in, not to fix everything, but to remind them they're not alone. They become each other's motivation without trying to be motivational. It's just something that flows naturally from their connection. Growth inside a relationship like this happens through alignment. They push each other not with pressure, but with example. She might see him working on himself, his goals, his discipline, his vision, and naturally wants to level up too. He sees her evolving, becoming more confident, stepping into her strength, and it fuels him to elevate his own mindset. They don't keep score, they don't compete. Their wins feel shared because they're invested in each other's progress. When they rise individually, the relationship rises with them, and it's not only about professional or financial growth. It's emotional, spiritual, mental. She helps him soften without losing his strength. He helps her feel protected without losing her independence. She teaches him patience, empathy, and the beauty of emotional intelligence. He teaches her resilience, clarity, and the importance of boundaries. They balance each other in a way that feels natural, two different energies merging without overpowering one another. He becomes a safe place for her heart, and she becomes a safe place for his soul. When life challenges them, Their connection becomes a classroom. They learn from each other, not through lectures but through experience. She might show him how to love more gently. He might show her how to stand more firmly. She teaches him how to communicate with understanding. He teaches her how to move with confidence. It's mutual growth, shaped by mutual respect. They don't see each other as projects to fix, but as partners to evolve with. They want to see each other become the best version of themselves, and they're willing to walk through uncomfortable conversations, personal flaws, and growing pains to get there. The world often misunderstands relationships like this. People mistake their quiet loyalty for weakness or dependence. They mistake their deep connection for over-attachment. But what's really happening is transformation. They help each other heal old wounds. They encourage each other to chase dreams that once felt too far. They challenge each other to break cycles, to aim higher, to trust deeper. That shared growth builds an unshakable bond. It builds a partnership where neither wants to outshine the other. They want to rise together. When two souls elevate each other like this, the relationship becomes more than love. It becomes a journey, a mission, a shared path where both keep evolving. Their chemistry deepens, their trust grows, and their connection becomes something people rarely get to experience. It's the kind of bond where both walk away better, stronger, wiser, and more aligned with their purpose. Trust is not something you can rush or fake. It grows slowly, almost silently, built through moments that seem small but carry a lot of weight. When a woman truly loves a man, her trust in him doesn't come from one big gesture. It comes from the way he consistently shows up, the way he handles her heart, the way he stands steady when life gets unpredictable. She pays attention to how he listens, how he reacts when she's vulnerable, how he treats her when she's at her lowest. Over time, she starts to relax into the relationship, not because she's naive, but because he has proven through his actions that he's not going to turn into a stranger when things get tough. She begins to trust his intentions, trust his loyalty, trust his direction. That trust becomes a calmness she carries inside her, a peace she didn't have before. A man who loves a woman with depth feels that trust and values it. He knows it wasn't handed to him, he earned it. He understands the responsibility that comes with being trusted by someone who has been strong for so long, someone who doesn't open her heart easily. Her trust becomes something sacred to him. He protects it through honesty, transparency, and consistency. He doesn't disappear when things get complicated. He communicates instead of leaving her guessing. He makes sure his actions match his words because he knows mixed signals create insecurity. The more she sees his stability, the deeper her trust grows. She stops fearing betrayal or abandonment. She stops questioning her worth. She starts feeling safe, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. This kind of unshakable trust is not one-sided. He also learns to trust her, but in ways that feel different. He trusts her with his vulnerability, which is not easy for a man who carries pride, pressure, and unspoken responsibilities. He trusts her with the parts of himself he doesn't show the world, the doubts, the insecurities, the fears he hides behind strength. He opens up to her in ways he doesn't open up to anyone else because she creates a space where he feels seen instead of judged. She doesn't turn his weaknesses into weapons. She doesn't laugh at his fears or criticize his dreams. She listens, supports, and understands. That's how his trust in her grows, through her compassion, her intuition, her loyalty, and the stability of her love. Trust between them becomes a quiet rhythm. They don't need to check each other's every move or question every decision. They don't feel the need to play detective or create drama. They communicate openly, not out of obligation, but out of respect. They don't hide their emotions because hiding creates distance. They don't keep secrets that could damage the connection. They choose honesty even when it's uncomfortable. This creates a bond that outsiders can't shake. They face challenges together because they've built a foundation strong enough to hold the weight of real life. Time plays a big role. Real trust doesn't appear on the first date or after a few sweet moments. It's built through trials, misunderstandings, arguments, personal stress, family issues, setbacks, and pressure. A woman learns she can trust a man when he stays consistent, even when life tests them. A man learns he can trust a woman when she stands steady, even when he's going through something that makes him hard to love. Trust is strengthened when they choose each other during the moments that could have pushed them apart. And trust is also built in the quiet parts of their relationship, the comfortable silences, the unspoken understanding, the way he reaches for her hand without thinking, the way she leans on him without hesitation, the way they read each other's moods with a glance. These things create a sense of safety that words can't fully describe. They become each other's soft place to land, the person they feel most understood by, the one they don't need to perform for. That safety builds emotional intimacy, and emotional intimacy deepens love. Once this unshakable trust forms, the relationship becomes stronger than any outside noise or temporary temptation. They don't let outsiders influence their bond because they trust each other enough to talk through whatever comes up. They don't compete with each other. They don't manipulate each other. They don't use fear to control each other. Trust replaces insecurity. Peace replaces suspicion. Growth replaces chaos. Communication replaces guessing. When a woman trusts a man and a man trusts a woman at this level, their connection becomes rare. It becomes the kind of bond people search for but don't always find. It becomes a relationship where both feel safe enough to be their true selves, strong enough to face storms together, and aligned enough to build a future with confidence. Their chemistry becomes deeper, their love becomes richer, and their connection becomes something they carry with them, even in silence. Respect is the quiet backbone of a powerful connection between a woman and the man she loves. It isn't flashy, it isn't loud, and it doesn't demand attention. It simply shapes the way they talk, listen, love, and handle each other. When a woman respects a man, it shows in the way she speaks to him, even when she's upset. She doesn't tear him down to win an argument or weaponize his vulnerabilities to make a point. She understands that words can build or destroy, and she chooses to build. Respect shows in how she values his time, his effort, his dreams. She pays attention to what matters to him, not because she's obligated to, but because she genuinely cares about who he's becoming. She listens when he talks about his goals or frustrations, giving him space to express himself without fear of being dismissed. She treats him like a man with purpose, not a project that needs fixing. And when a man respects a woman, it becomes even more clear. He doesn't just love her emotionally, he honors her existence. He pays attention to her boundaries. He values her feelings instead of brushing them off. He doesn't talk over her or make decisions without considering her voice. He treats her dreams like they matter, her pain like it's valid, and her presence like it's a blessing. He understands that respect is shown through consistency, keeping his word, standing by what he says, showing effort not only in the beginning, but all the way through. Respect means he doesn't belittle her, doesn't try to control her, doesn't make her feel small to make himself feel big. He protects her dignity not out of ego, but out of love. When two people respect each other on this level, their relationship becomes a space that feels safe and empowering. They don't compete for dominance. They don't play mind games. They don't punish each other with silence or manipulation. Respect becomes the anchor that keeps them grounded when emotions get intense or misunderstandings show up. It helps them talk through issues without destroying the bond. It makes them careful with each other's hearts, knowing that carelessness can do damage that's hard to undo. Respect also fuels admiration. A woman who respects her man admires the way he handles his responsibilities, the way he works toward his goals, the way he protects and provides, not just financially, but emotionally and spiritually. She admires his strength, but she also respects his vulnerability. She appreciates the effort he puts into the relationship, even if it doesn't come naturally for him. Respect makes her want to support him without losing herself in the process. It makes her proud of him, not because he's perfect, but because he's intentional. A man who respects his woman admires her resilience, her softness, her intelligence, her intuition. He sees how she holds things together even on days she feels tired. He respects her independence, her voice, and her perspective. He values her advice, trusts her instincts, and sees her as a partner, not someone beneath him or above him, but beside him. Respect makes him cherish her instead of taking her for granted. It keeps him from playing with her feelings or wasting her time. It makes him want to protect everything she stands for, including the dreams she's too humble to speak about. This mutual respect changes the energy between them. They start solving problems instead of creating them. They communicate clearly instead of assuming. They become more patient, more understanding, more forgiving. They give each other room to grow without feeling threatened. They celebrate each other's individuality instead of trying to mold one another into something else. Respect creates a balance where both can stand strong without overpowering the other. Over time, respect creates a love that feels mature and steady. There's less insecurity because both know they won't be disrespected. There's less jealousy because both trust the intentions behind each other's actions. There's less chaos because respect brings clarity. It keeps them mindful of how they treat each other in public and in private. It makes them proud to show the world who they're with, not through performative gestures, but through genuine appreciation. Respect also keeps desire alive. When a woman feels respected, she naturally becomes softer, more open, more affectionate. When a man feels respected, he becomes more protective, more committed, more devoted. They stop fighting for power because respect has already created equality. They stop doubting each other because respect has already built trust. They move like teammates, not opponents. They move like partners with a shared direction, not individuals walking in different worlds. When respect is present, love lasts longer, arguments hurt less, and the bond becomes difficult for anyone on the outside to break. It becomes a connection where both feel valued, heard, and appreciated. A connection where they grow without losing themselves. A connection where they honor each other's roles, strengths, and hearts. Respect becomes the silent force that keeps everything balanced, healthy, and real. When two people deeply love each other, love stops being something emotional and turns into something purposeful. It becomes a mission they share, a direction they choose together, even when the world tries to pull them in different ways. When a woman loves a man with her whole heart, she naturally aligns herself with his vision. Not in a way that erases her own dreams, but in a way that blends them together. She pays attention to what drives him, what keeps him up at night, what he's chasing. She wants to understand his purpose because his purpose becomes a part of her life too. She supports his ambitions, not out of obligation, but out of belief. She sees the fire in him, the potential he carries, and she wants to help him reach it. Her love becomes direction, not by controlling him, but by grounding him, inspiring him, and reminding him of his why. And when a man loves a woman, he doesn't just love her presence, he loves her path. He wants her dreams to flourish, her goals to expand, her confidence to grow. He doesn't want her to shrink for him, he wants her to rise with him. He listens to her ideas, respects her vision, and supports her pursuit of it. He doesn't get insecure when she succeeds, and he doesn't feel threatened by her independence. Instead, he feels proud. He becomes her encourager, her partner in planning, her reminder that she deserves everything she's working for. His love becomes a source of momentum, helping her step into the life she desires without hesitation. When their love is aligned with purpose, they stop moving separately and start moving as a team. They develop a rhythm, a shared drive, shared ambitions, shared values. They begin to plan together, to dream together, to shape the future in ways that complement each other. It doesn't mean they have the same exact goals, but their goals fit like puzzle pieces. She might want stability while he seeks expansion. He might dream of building something big while she dreams of building something meaningful. Together, they create a vision where both can thrive. Their differences don't clash, they create balance. This shared mission strengthens their relationship. It gives them something bigger than arguments, misunderstandings, or temporary emotions. It gives them reasons to keep moving forward, even when things get tough. A relationship built on purpose doesn't fall apart easily because both people understand they're building something worth protecting. They aren't just in love, they're invested. They aren't just partners, they're teammates walking toward a future they both believe in. Their connection becomes more intentional. They encourage each other to grow instead of staying comfortable. They push each other to level up. She might remind him to stay disciplined when he feels distracted. He might remind her to take care of herself when she's overwhelmed. Their love becomes a cycle of mutual strengthening. They don't just share romance, they share responsibility. They don't just share affection, they share dreams. Their relationship becomes a safe space where both can evolve without fear of losing each other. Love tied to purpose also brings clarity. They begin to understand what truly matters and what doesn't. They don't waste energy on petty insecurities or unnecessary drama because they know their mission needs focus. They protect their relationship from outside noise, negative people, meaningless temptations, distractions. They value peace over ego, growth over pride, future over momentary emotions. This clarity makes their bond rare and mature. As they pursue their shared mission, they also become each other's accountability. She keeps him grounded while he keeps her confident. He brings structure where she brings intuition. She brings emotional depth where he brings strategic thinking. Together, they create something balanced and powerful. They grow as individuals, but in a way that strengthens the relationship rather than pulling it apart. A shared mission doesn't mean life becomes easy. There will be disagreements, sacrifices, and hard days, but instead of seeing those moments as signs of weakness, they see them as part of the process. They learn how to communicate clearly, how to compromise without losing themselves, and how to respect their differences while focusing on the bigger picture. Their love becomes something they actively build rather than something they passively feel. Over time, this mission becomes the glue that holds them together. It becomes the reason they keep choosing each other through every season. They don't just share a relationship, they share purpose, direction, intention. It gives their love depth, meaning, and longevity. And when two people are driven by the same vision, their bond becomes something that can't be easily broken, something that continues to grow even when life changes, something that turns their relationship into a legacy. Here's a strong, soulful conclusion that ties the entire speech together, followed by a simple good luck and thank you message. No subheadings, no dots, no unnecessary formatting, just a clean, powerful closing in the same tone you've been building. The unspoken chemistry between a woman and the man she loves is built on so much more than what people see from the outside. It's the energy they exchange without words, the loyalty they prove through actions, the way they elevate each other's soul without asking for applause. It's the trust that grows through consistency, the respect that carries them through disagreements, and the shared mission that gives their love direction and purpose. What they have is not random and it's not fragile. It's created through intention, nurtured through patience, strengthened through understanding, and held together by two hearts that choose each other every day. Their connection lives in the spaces people overlook. The eye contact, the silence, the support, the growth, the unity. It's where love becomes partnership, where emotions turn into alignment, where passion turns into purpose, and where two people become better not just because of love, but because of the way they love each other. When a woman and a man share this kind of bond, they don't just build a relationship, they build a legacy. Good luck on everything you create with this message, and thank you for trusting me to help you bring your vision to life.